Welcome back to MSU Tonight. My name is Isabel Horrell, and I'm here with my great friend, Mariella Speltz. I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself, but we're going to talk about study abroad today, so go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mariella Speltz. I'm a double major in Spanish language and studio art, and we're here to talk about my study abroad experience.
Yeah, so you went to Costa Rica last semester, the entire semester, and just like for context for those at home, studying abroad, like you can pick at minimum a 10-day program to all the way up to a whole year, if not more, exchange. And so you picked the full term semester.
Yeah.
What was that like? Just give us some cliff notes.
It was really cool. If you're looking at a full semester program and you're like thinking, oh my God, that's so long, you're gonna get there and it's gonna be gone in the blink of an eye. It really is not going to feel that long. In the grand scheme of things, it's really not that long. It's just one semester. But it gives you an opportunity to get closer to, if you have a host family, get closer to your friends and your program, and really get to put down some roots in the place where you're staying.
Yeah, I know, speaking of like your host family and situation, I know we FaceTimed like a lot
Yeah.
while you're abroad and stuff. And your host mom, her name was Isabel too?
Yes.
And you still talk to her and like everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us about that and what was that like?
So I was living with an older woman who already had 4 adult kids, but they were out of the house. So it started just me and her, and then her older sister moved in with us about a month into the program. So I was living with these 2 elderly ladies, but they were just lovely, and they took me around to meet all the other old ladies in the neighborhood. And I really got to be part of that community because they were bringing me into that, which was really special.
Yeah. Was that like something that you were concerned about, like going in? Like, I feel like that's kind of like a horror story that like when you're researching about going abroad, especially for like a long program, like you want to feel comfortable, you want to be feeling safe, especially because you're in that foreign environment. Was that like something that you were concerned about? And like, did you hear like anybody else? Like, obviously, I feel like you had a really ideal experience, but like, what was that like going into it and versus like where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're like worried, like, oh my God, am I gonna click with my family? Am I gonna click with this community? The good thing is that if you're doing a provider program like I was, which means that it's not the university, it wasn't Murray State. Murray State was partnering with a separate program. The people staffing the provider program are going to do everything to make sure that you are comfortable. So even if you get into one of those horror story scenarios where you're like, oh my God, this family is not clicking, this place is not working, they will find a way to, like, sometimes you have to change families, but they will get that done for you. But I didn't know anyone who had to do that. Yeah. Everyone was like, oh my God, I love my host parents. I love my host siblings. Like, this is a beautiful place for me to be.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you know like anybody going to Costa Rica? Have you been out of the country before? Kind of paint us a picture of what your experience was going in.
So I had been out of the country a couple times. I've been to New Zealand once, and I went to Spain once with my family. So I did have experience being in a Spanish-speaking country. But I didn't know really anyone else on the program. There was only one other Murray State student, and I only sort of knew her going into it, but now we're really close friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I basically knew no one going in. It's really a thing of you go there and it's kind of a blank slate for everybody. It's pretty uncommon for people to have more than 1 or 2 kids from their university in a program.
Yeah. So I know that you're an honor student, and so like part of like going abroad is because it's an honors requirement, but also like you have a Spanish background. But what about those that like don't have that as a degree requirement or don't like have any interest in like learning a new language, but just like are interested in maybe studying abroad? What would you say to them as far as like, I know like especially like if you don't feel like speak Spanish or like other languages, going abroad could be kind of intimidating. What would you like say to those students that are maybe thinking about it or like no?
So my Spanish major part of me is like, yes, of course, going to a foreign country is going to give you super important global experiences. Like, we are not as far removed from other countries as we think we are. But as myself, I will say that this winter I'm getting the opportunity to go to Europe to meet up with my brother, and we were his host family when I was in high school. So that's the thing that you will get out of it. You will get connections that you have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I'm afraid that's all the time that we have left today, but if you want to hear more about studying abroad, I studied abroad in Italy, you went to Costa Rica. We had very different experiences, but like you said, it's really all about making those connections, building connections, going to meet other people, and just grow as a person. So thank you so much for talking with me, Ellie, making time for me. And if you're interested in learning more about study abroad, definitely go check out the Study Abroad office on campus.